And this is a poem for my brother Adam. I'm from Louisiana and we keep a country there, so here I am.
Bring the blues up in here, yo.
This is kind of like the blues, Corey. I'm washing my microphone and can bite the dust. Sing hands from where I've been working. Sing feet from where I've been walking. See eyes from where I've been weeping. See knees from right where I kneel down to pray. It is here, on the red rust clay banks of muddy Mississippi, that I kneel on pins and scab knees with scripture carved in my hair. Magenta eyes scanning the bloody skyline, my hands clasped, and my only vision of prayer that if and when I finally stumble face first upon my own version of God, that God is too much love to be stuffed inside a vessel of he's or she's or what ifs or whatever the fucks and sent down the river. No. I have scavenged the wilderness, blistered the heights of midnight pine trees in the wake of burning forests, hoping that I could look down into the water's reflection and see the greater good, looking only for a place to bury my knees in untouched earth, a place so quiet you could hear God scream forgiveness. I have always needed a graceful God, but where the fuck was God when God needed me? I have crawled here on scab knees to reconcile my second thoughts, because any God of mine cannot be the callous God of condemnation that God's chosen claim him to be. And if God is love and love is God, I will speak God into existence by calling God out by God's true name. It is here that I, dirty hands, spoiled faith, toiled mind, collapse my poor plagued bones upon the ceremonial stone, and I begin to sing a solo, so low, it's not fit for love. Stay eyes from where I've been weeping. Stay peace from where I kneel down to pray. But love hears me. With love ears, love pierces the sound barrier, shatters the equator with love like eyes and love like levity. Love makes love's way to me. And love kneels down to meet me where I am lying to myself about everything that I've done. But my love will not hear of forgiveness. Love just sets aside love differences in love. God's me enough to kneel, make muck of turned stone, lift my broken body to the longing heavens, and carry me home. That was for my baby brother who passed away 9 months ago. I hope that him and everybody here finds their heaven. Y'all, party on.
This is what Brokeback Mountain would have been if it was filmed in San Antonio.
Oh, Lord.
Opening scene. Jorge and Hector are sitting on a picnic table in Breckenridge Park. Drinking a 40 and smoking a joint.
Woo! Yeah!
Jorge says,
Drinking a 40!
how long we know each other? Hector says, shit, man, I don't know, man. Like 20, 30 years or some shit like that? Jorge says, man. And I'd do anything for you, man, you know? Yeah, me too, bro. Love you. Love you too, bro. Hey, you remember that one time at Lupita's quinceañera and we were wrestling trying to get the piñata candy and we were wrestling around and it almost got to the point where we kissed? That was crazy, right? Scene. Next scene. Scene two. Scene two. The setting is a woodlawn area, lake, house, kitchen, 4 a.m. Hector, had a night out, we're just chilling. Damn, man, that shit was fun, bro. Yeah, man, I know, dude. Man, do you remember that one time you said he was busted up? Ah, shit. As they start laughing, they kind of hug and they kind of cuddle and they're like, ah. And then Hector's hand slowly moves down to where his lips.
Oh, Lord.
And then lock eyes. And then fucking Lupe storms in and fucking, oh, fuck us, the fuckers, hey! Scene 3. Opening scene. Hector's mom's house.
Oh, Lord.
Back patio. We're drinking. Hey, bro. Kind of tired, man. I think I'm gonna hit the sack. All right, bro. All right. Hector leaves. Jorge's standing there thinking about the past. As he gets up to walk in and open up the screen patio door, Jorge's standing right there. They catch eyes. Hands to lips. Lips to lips. Fucking hot ass Chicano San Antonio Mexican love scene. Hot, hot, dripping hot.
Oh, no. Not Mary Jane Rotten Crotch.
Tongue of Miss Chichi Rodriguez. I am a student of Boy George, who taught me how to dream in red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Come on, chameleon. A student of Freddie Mercury, who always was trying to break free, giving us the means to fly under pressure. I am America's next drag superstar. Or at least that is what Mama Brew made me feel like after teaching me that we were all born naked and the rest is drag. I am Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera's sister, and I will continue to fight alongside them for gay rights. Gay rights! Gay rights! Soy hermano de Juan Gabriel, el osito de oro, que me acuerda que cuando la vida es difícil siempre puedo oír al no, no va, no, no va. Soy estudiante de Walter Mercado, con quien pasé varias horas en silla de mi abuelita aprendiendo los secretos del universo y el significado de ser Tauro, Capricornio, Libra. If you know, you know. I am a flagrant, flamboyant faggot.
Oh, no!
Liberace, Elton John, and Billy Porter, who showed the world how to turn a look, mama. I'm a punk kid who sang along with Tyler Glenn, Billy Joe Armstrong, Brendan Urie, Tele Ukarere, Tegan and Sarah, and Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I'm a lyricist exploring complex emotions like Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, and Sid.
Frank
I'm
Ocean's
reminded by my aunt Niecy Nash that I should live as my authentic self to be my happiest. Y que la vida es hermosa aunque no sea perfecta. Pero hay que seguir luchando y creando y viviendo como nos enseñó Frida Kahlo. All those queer icons, queerdos, and weirdos lived and continue to live so that we can too. Thank you. Revel in the faggotry, revel in just everything that's just Pride. It's Pride fucking month, but oh, it's Pride fucking year. Every day of my goddamn life is Pride Day and month, so give gay people money. Someone buy me a drink. I like a margarita. On that note, here's some quick notes before we go to break. So first and foremost, tip your bartender.
Yes. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything extra because I am drunk. I'm just gonna get to poetry. Ask the bartender.
You should give a shout out to Diego.
Shout out to Diego.
And Ray. Two different people told me, Diego and Ray. Give Diego a shout out, then give Ray a shout out
Yeah.
separately.
Look, shout out to everybody. Okay, if you fuck with this shit, shout out to you. Okay, that's all that matters. okay? So shout out to you. I got some new shit. Literally finished writing this shit when I got here, so yeah. Society is a junkyard full of broken toys that are damaged since people play with them too much. Growing up, I had a Simba stuffed animal.
Hell yeah!
It was my favorite toy. I played with it so much. Running around the house, flipping him, throwing him, making him fight my action figures. Until one day I saw a tear going down his back. It grew the more I played with it. I eventually got scared to touch him. With his stuffing seeping out, I was scared I was going to have to let him go. But my grandma stitched him back up. After that, our relationship was different. I wanted to protect it so that we won't tear at the seams just like the past, so I was careful. But I still think of the reckless days where I had the most fun. I learned to take care of the things that I called mine. Society is a junkyard full of broken toys that are damaged as people play with them too much. Our relationships with the kids that played with us when we were brand new have torn our stitches and popped our acrylic eyes off of our faces until we're just piles of cloth, a jumbled, torn apart, a mess on the floor once they threw us in the trash to buy a new toy with no ribs and a thinner waistband. While we were forgotten in the backs of closets and wastebaskets, while they move on with their new obsession, forgetting all the pain we still remember, which causes different damages like anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem and low self-worth that show up to our new owners that make them scrap us faster than the last one. We're so damaged that once we repair the damage, we find someone similar to do the same things back to us again. And most of us don't know that if we break this cycle, that it will fix us. And my Simba stuffed animal doesn't have fun anymore. What it can bet on is that I care about it enough to leave it alone, to preserve it so that it doesn't break anymore. So I just hope that it feels the love in that.
This poem has everything to do with if you're a degenerate like me and a few other people who hang out on the North St. Mary Strip way too much. You're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Men, gentle ladies, and bomb-ass non-binary folk, permit me to tell you about an urban legend the size of South Texas. If we are lucky, perhaps this amazing apparition will appear tonight, because like Sasquatch belongs to the forest in Northwest and Nessie belongs to Loch Ness, this cryptozoological mystery figure is often found here on the St. Mary's Strip. Like all miracles, he appears when you least expect. When you order 6 Lone Star shot combos, 5-star fuckers, 4 rails of cocaine, 3 hits off the magic vape pen, 2 random makeout sessions, and 1 okay, bitch, just 1 last shot of tequila in. Some of y'all really come to the St. Mary's Strip a lot, and I love that because you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's then, through the American spirit, smoke, and bloodshot eyes, when your stomach is a wild chupacabra, this angel of the Strip arrives, the pizza classic pizza guy. He is the pepperoni and cheese apostle of Christ, the physical embodiment of all infinity stones. He is a courier qualified to carry canapes worth of champions. Parading the pizzas are 2 a.m., drunk and needing to sober up, asses are addicted to, and yes, I am an addict just like you.
Woo!
I too have found empty pizza boxes in my backseat, not knowing how they got there, after a long night of Andrew poured libations.
Talk about it.
I too have vaguely seen the silhouette of a backwards hat and pizza bag. I too have questioned if he was real, or the imagined fever dream of too much whiskey. But my fellow people allow me to say, the pizza classic pizza guy is real. For $6, he will heal you when your eyes are bigger than the bar. For $6, he will slide you those greasy slices to suck up all that angry orchard and cigarette smoke. For $6, he will deliver you from the evil of all the shots you took while Lil Jon sang shot, 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 shots. He saves your a horrible hangover Thursday because he isn't walking miles and miles of mercy on the north side or the east side or the west side. He's walking those miles and carrying pizzas because he's on our side and your side and your side and your side. And if you ask me if the pizza's any good, I'll say good is relative, asshole. But I will say that when you are upside down on all sorts of liquor, it is only $6. It's right on time, and that is fucking fantastic. So keep your eyes peeled for this Murr pizza made, and trust it is no illusion. After a deluge of high-proof alcohol, he is the alpha and omega of all things circular and boxed. He is the alien abduction that ends in pizza, the phantom of the strip, the Mother Teresa to us misfits. So drink responsibly, tip graciously, and remember that the Pizza Classic Pizza Guy is no myth. Thank you. Uno más. Gas prices are crazy, right? Prices everywhere, crazy, right? This poem is called My Bank Emails Me and Asks If I'm Ready to Plan for My Retirement. I watch $1 Million Listings Los Angeles. I watch Rolls Royces driving on streets of sunlight and ocean spray worth more than the ruined houses that my neighborhood houses. I see haircuts that can feed a family of 5 for 5 months. Enough Botox to ail the cracks and potholes along my stray dog line streets. I've seen Edens, the opposite of the food desert I lived in, with endless Sauvignon Blanc and desserts. How long have I lived on peanut butter and single slices of bread, tacos with potato and egg, and I don't care how much you fancify it, I refuse to eat Spam to this very day. My bank emails me and asks if I'm ready to plan for my retirement. Shit, I just kind of started making a living like a week ago. Because there are a limited few born into financial freedom and alive. For the majority of us, we are born mid-stride, outwanting the clock, the hounds, the hours, and the overtime, clocking graveyard shifts for poltergeist-haunted paychecks. Oh, what it must know how it feels like for a fingertip to glide in worlds of marble, to never have eaten economic insecurity, to not have to temper and forge your own flame in a dark age. At what point in all of this living do we get to live, y'all? Why does cutthroat capitalism always feast or famine? I say let's take the lessons that they gave and we feast away our famine on the rich. But I'm not actually saying let's eat the rich.
Eat the rich!
I am saying let's rob them. And then maybe eat them. Because this poem is for those who stretch a few cents into a sacred lunch, for the hands hoping that the paycheck clears at midnight, for those haters of insufficient fund fees, for those on this side of the barely broke and hanging on the rainbow. We are not rich, but we are here. Sometimes all we can afford is a hallelujah. Some days, the only way out of depression is to stop killing yourself to live. Sometimes, alive and unbothered is all the wealth we have, y'all. I don't want to be old rich or new rich. I just want to continue being alive and unbothered. I want maybe a jacuzzi full of hoes. Thank you.
I read them one time a long time ago, and I'm trying to piece them together for maybe one day using parts of this to make a real poem someday. So you can make a sound and be like, boo, that was stupid. Or hey, that was cool, and then I'll keep that part.
Or hooray!
You can just say hooray in general.
Hooray!
But just, okay, cool. All right. Perfect plan, just as I plan. So I was trying to figure out what sort of poetry I write, blah, long introduction. I write a mean kind of poetry.
Mean shit.
And add up all the quantities and divide by the number of digits that produce that some kind of poetry. Could I all this time have been writing that average kind of poetry? I write that average kind of poetry. It does have a ring to it, right? Hey. I write that average kind of poetry, the kind that always thinks it's writing poetry but hardly ever is kind of poetry. I write that psychosomatic poetry that's either writing poetry or having an allergic reaction to something in the mediocrity. But I got that when I was 5 though, right after the chicken pox, so I guess technically I'm a permanent carrier. But at least I can't get it again. I write that dance poetry, revolution kind of poetry. That I'm gonna throw down $50 at the arcade so everyone can watch me dance poetry in public kind of poetry. Because that's a good place for a revolution. That stepping on blue suede shoes is how I choreograph this shit kind of poetry. I write that smooth kind of poetry. So smooth, the entire time allotted is considered my grace period. Still some say I write that nutty kind of poetry, that promiscuous Barbie squirrel is poison, but I kissed it anyway and I liked it kind of poetry. I wrote the kind of poetry you want to go around with. That request my poem for the slow partner skate at middle school birthday parties kind of poetry. That I want the ice cream man to play my song in the streets kind of poetry. I poem for ice cream and we all should. That I stanza for what I believe in kind of poetry. That words that mean the same thing are sexy kind of poetry. That synonymphomaniac kind of poetry. That anticlimactic big G little O I won't have what she's having kind of poetry. I write that onomatopoeic kind of poetry. That this is not what it looks like, it's what it sounds like kind of poetry. Telekinetic with a little bit of showmanship and a touch of grace kind of poetry. Kinetic kind of poetry, poetry fun ethics. That phonetic kind of poetry with phonetics, that kind of poetry that doesn't remember where that came from. Like Home Depot kind of poetry, that kind of poetry. Like you can build it, we think we can help kind of poetry. That ask about frosted, you're more likely to find a lucky penny on this road, less traveled, or that other one that, hey, don't look now, but I said don't look now. What did I say kind of poetry? That Orpheus and Eurydice kind of poetry. That, oh my gosh, you know what, just forget it kind of poetry. That Eurydice be like I have a choice kind of poetry. That your dolphin tripped me and I'm pretty sure he did it on purpose kind of poetry. That what is this, a prom scene from a cliche 80s cult classic, who spiked the pun kind of poetry. That Whitman, Socrates, and Dylan walked into a bar and nobody could understand what the fuck happened after that kind of poetry. That can we build it? Of course we can kind of poetry. That experimental squirrel kind of poetry, learn your blue scale kind of poetry. That reinforce the learning every time you do a daily task kind of poetry. Like write a haiku every time you're on the toilet kind of poetry.
Oh, God!
Dedication. Ooh, that's something alright. That recite the formula for a blue scale every time you flush the toilet kind of poetry. Poetry that features one tongue twister a week to recite while he's washing his hands because the big black bug bit the big black Mary and the big black bear bleeds blood. And you know New York, you need New York, you know you need New York. Oh fuck. That I'm so ashamed kind of poetry that totally now has proven why she's not any kind of poetry. That you have 3 days to form a government kind of poetry. It's all Greek politics to me. I write that. They call me paperclip kind of poetry, the way I hold it together. That I wish you and your tangential associative verse would step down from that ledge so that some of us could understand what the fuck it is you're trying to say kind of poetry. That my first word was alphabet and I pronounced it kind of poetry. I write that. This is not what it looks like kind of poetry. It's what it sounds like kind of poetry. That 3/4 notes walked into a bar. Bartender said, give it a rest kind of poetry. The kind of poetry that every time he wants to give up, he gets down instead. Thank you.
Even though we were poor, we stayed fed. When times got tough, we still had oat paste
and green cornbread. Mix 1 blue box of Jeffrey's cornbread with green Jell-O powder. Add water, stir, put in a pan on 375 for 10 minutes and enjoy. Kinda.
Is that how you make cornbread sweet?
Nah, but that's all we had to eat.
Oat paste. Take the last cup of oatmeal, throw in a saucepan and milk, scratch that, add water, bring to a boil, reduce heat and simmer till thicken, add butter, scratch that, add sugar, scratch that, scoop bland paste into a bowl, sit around the table, crisscross applesauce.
Wait, y'all had applesauce?
Shit, I wish we had applesauce.
Not even Hill Country Fair or Great Value?
Only value we had was the ones we were taught. Like name brand was a luxury to get if we were lucky.
Everything we had was bootleg. Shirt shirts, bags, Jordans, movies, candy, ice cream.
Pride. We have the perfect recipe for poverty. Start with a pot full of community on Section 8 housing.
Have a stick of parents, there's only one stuck around.
Add WIC cards.
Stir in gang violence.
And a heaping scoop of teen pregnancy.
Put it in the deep fryer for 12 minutes and you get the hood.
A place where a single mom can make $22.50 stretch until the first of the month.
You won't miss a meal.
Obviously, we're well fed.
I got boobs.
We wouldn't change a single thing.
Poverty made us who we are. Taught us different ways to make ends meet.
Like what?
When you order delivery pizza, you keep a receipt and call it slave and get the order replaced.
Or that income tax time is the time to play catch up, put a little extra on the electric,
Water,
cable,
insurance,
credit cards.
credit card. My credit's been shot since 3rd grade when my mom put the cable in my name.
Fuck 'em. But we thank poverty.
For teaching us how to borrow from Peter to pay Paul.
Or borrow from the electric bill money to pay the water since that one's due first. So if you understand where we came from, we invite you to our first of the month barbecue sponsored by Food Stamps.
I bought some from the homies around the way.
It's a potluck, so bring a plate. This is our community. So we need to work together to survive.
If we don't come together when we nosedive,
Then who will? Yeah.